And why does the sun damage our skin and give us skin cancer and melanoma if the sun's so good for us?
I'm glad you asked.
Answer me that, my friend.
I'm glad you asked. Because if you actually look at the literature, I have a pinned post on my Instagram because so many people ask me this freaking question. And I'm like, just go look at my post because there's like 10 articles pinned there that show that actually, in the case of melanoma.
Esta es buena. Yo creo que todos estábamos esperando. A ver, pero si el sol es tan bueno, ¿por qué nos ocasiona cáncer de piel? Dilo, Alexis.
Low vitamin D is associated with melanoma incidence and
Low
severity.
vitamin D is associated with melanoma.
So vitamin D is
No, cáncer de piel.
primarily made in response to the sun in the skin.
Right.
UVB light interacts with 7-dehydrocholesterol in the skin, stimulates the production of pre-vitamin D3. That can go and be processed in the liver and the kidneys, ultimately to make the monohydroxy and the dihydroxy form. And that's associated, we can use that 25-hydroxy form, which is like the storage form of vitamin D. There, yes, that's it, exactly. So that's associated with your...
Okay, ya la seguí. Part of this intervention in our POMC post series.
sun exposure habits. So the 25-hydroxy storage form in the bloodstream is a pretty good proxy for your sun exposure habits, and that's why you can use apps like DMinder, which essentially allow you to start a timer. You put in your skin type and like how many clouds there are, and then it will tell you how much vitamin D you're making per unit time. And it's pretty close, like it's pretty good prediction. Now, in addition to that, we also see that people who work outdoor occupations have lower levels of melanoma than people who work indoor occupations. We also see that people who have chronic, regular, daily sun exposure have lower levels of melanoma incidence and severity than people who avoid the sun altogether.
Ahí está. Personas que tienen más interacción afuera, que les da el sol, son menos propensas a tener melanoma que las personas que trabajan todo el día en una oficina. Por eso hay que tomarnos el tiempo. Yo sí lo hago. De que, no me importa. Y ahorita voy a tomar 20 minutos de break afuera. Nos vemos.
The problem, as emphasized in the literature, is really intermittent sun exposure, which is when you never go outside and then you go on vacation to the Bahamas, you blast yourself for 3 days, you get burned to a crisp. That's a problem. But when you're getting daily sun exposure and you're like chronically building that solar callus, as Jack would say, you're not only giving yourself all these other benefits, you're also protecting yourself against melanoma. And not to mention that like there's no discussion of risk-benefit analysis in this sun, like let's say the mainstream propaganda around the sun.
Yeah.
Because if you were actually to look at that risk-benefit, you could say, okay, maybe if you're not going outside very much, you're going out in the sun intermittently, you could have a slightly increased chance of like basal cell or squamous cell carcinomas. I would say the data is still kind of out on the melanoma unless you're really frying yourself regularly. But also, if you're going out in the sun, you're protecting yourself against cardiovascular disease, other